Good morning and welcome to Sparks. Sometimes we live our life and we really don't feel like we're achieving anything. But let me share with you the story of John Eglin. He'd never preached a sermon in his life. Never. It wasn't that he didn't want to, he just never needed to. But then one morning he had to. You see, he was at a little town called Colchester in England. And the snow had fallen and everything was snowed in. When he awoke on that January Sunday in 1850, he thought of staying home. He thought, well, who's going to go to church in weather like this? He reconsidered. He said, after all, he was a deacon in the church. He had responsibilities. And if all the deacons didn't go, who would? So he put on his boots and his hat and his coat and he walked the 6 miles through the snow to get to the little Methodist church there at Colchester. And he wasn't the only member who considered staying home. In fact, he was one of the few who actually came. Only 13 people were present that day, 12 members and one visitor who was a small child. And even the minister was snowed in and couldn't make it to the service. So they all got together, all 13 of them, sat there looking at one another, and someone suggested they just turn around and go home. But Eglin said he would hear none of it. They'd come this far, they would have a service. And besides, they had a visitor, this young boy, this 13-year-old boy. Let's have a service for him. But who could preach? Well, Eglin was the only deacon, so it fell to him. Well, he got up, he preached his first and last sermon. His sermon only lasted 10 minutes. It drifted and wandered and made no point in an effort to make several points. But at the end, in an uncharacteristic courage settled on his heart, and the man lifted his eyes and he looked straight at the boy and he challenged him, young man, look to Jesus, look to Jesus, look to Jesus. Well, did that challenge make a difference? You'd have to say on the surface, probably not. But let me tell you what the boy later said when he'd become a man. He said this, I did look, and then and there, the cloud on my heart lifted, the darkness rolled away, and at that moment I saw the sun, and I gave my heart to Jesus Christ. The boy's name was Charles Haddon Spurgeon, England's Prince of Preachers. So John Eglin preached the only service of his life and thought he'd failed. And he raised up one of England's greatest men of God. So don't think what you're doing is insignificant. You can't tell the end from the beginning, but I know someone who can. Go forth into your day. Even if it seems insignificant, do it with all your heart and do it as unto the Lord. Because only the Lord can see where it's going to go. You can count the seeds in an apple, but only the Lord can count the apples in a seed. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.